There was a big outbreak, literally and figuratively, in the SEC yesterday with regard to COVID news. Alabama, LSU, Baton Rouge this weekend in jeopardy. LSU may not have enough scholarship players. They've had an outbreak. Coach O's talking about moving players around the roster to make sure the quarterback position has depth if this game goes off. Good luck having that old high school quarterback run back out there with Alabama's defense rushing at him in an emergency situation. Texas A&M, along with Alabama, is also in the top 5. A&M's only lost to Alabama. They have paused activities. They're scheduled to play Tennessee, but they have one player and one student staffer that tested positive. You heard Paul say Auburn and Mississippi State. That's been moved to December 12th. That's the 1 week the SEC has allotted that's baked in for makeup games. And Arkansas' Sam Pittman, who's 58 years old, first-year head coach, done a great job in Fayetteville.
Yes, he has.
He had a test come back positive. Defensive coordinator Barry Odom will take over on an interim basis. You might remember Odom was Missouri's head coach, so he has some experience in the SEC. So that's all yesterday. That is all happening yesterday. The commissioner yesterday went on Paul's show. Again, Paul will join us at 9:10 a.m. Eastern and said, listen, the fact that we thought we were going to sail through this, that's ridiculous.
We wanted to play the season as scheduled, but the reality is the circumstances around the virus always presented a challenge and the potential for disruption. We just have to manage through that, and we'll work with our universities, our athletics programs to do so. We don't have an infinite amount of time, and that's where the pressure over these last 4 or 5 weeks starts to mount. So the adjustments may be a little bit different than we contemplated 6 weeks ago, but still our focus is on trying to play as much of the football schedule as possible. And then we're going to deal with this disruption as it occurs and make adjustments and maintain the spirit of cooperation, collaboration, and flexibility we've had today.
It's time for Straight Talk, brought to you by Straight Talk Wireless. There was a lot of corporate mumbo jumbo there. You totally get it. Collaboration. Let's get together. Let's do what we can. I get all that. Let's jump into the meat of what he told Feinbaum. Here's the bottom line. December 19th is the SEC championship game. The week before that I mentioned, that's the 1 week where the league has essentially said any makeup games that need to happen, like LSU in Florida, Missouri and Vanderbilt, all those games will be played that particular week. But Commissioner Sankey also said we could play games on December 19th that involve teams that aren't involved in the SEC title game. So sure, that's our marquee showcase, SEC title game, December 19th, whoever is playing. And if anybody needs to make up a game on the 19th, it's available. It may not affect who plays in the SEC championship game or who goes to the playoff, but if you need to get that game in there and you can't do it on the 12th, you could play it on the 19th. The reason I bring that up, a team like LSU, they are scheduled to play Florida on December 12th. They could play Alabama on December 19th, but it doesn't make any sense. That would be the SEC championship game. That's a divisional game that's scheduled to be played. It might not be important for LSU because they're pretty much out of it, but that game could be important for Alabama. Problem is they're running out of places to play it.
Well, why would it be important for Alabama?
Well, because Alabama could get to the SEC championship game and not play a full schedule, right?
Yeah,
so we know Alabama's one of the top teams in the college football playoff.
Hang on a second.
The college football in the SEC, right?
If you're Texas A&M and you play one less game than Alabama and your loss has been to Alabama and Alabama advances to the championship game by playing one less game, a game they potentially could have lost, totally understand. Yes. They would still have the
head-to-head point favorite.
But not only that, they were never LSU could roll out every single guy from last year and the year before and the year. They're not beating this Alabama team.
I understand the spread is over 20 points.
Yeah, they're not beating them. They're going to blow the doors off them.
I'm just saying that if you are in a neck-and-neck chase with Alabama like Texas A&M is.
But Alabama already beat them head-to-head, right, Zubin?
Correct. They have the head-to-head. But if they were to play a full SEC schedule and Alabama were to not play a full SEC schedule and they would get the nod over Texas A&M.
But I beat you head-to-head. Alabama was never losing to LSU. I understand A&M fan base and how A&M people may feel, but you already lost to Alabama, and Alabama was not going to lose to LSU. So stop even thinking that way.
Even rationalize that, Key, and I'm with you on that. This is what we expected going into a 2020 year full of COVID and not sure if teams will be able to play or not, right? We expected there not to be this, hey, everything has to be fair. Like, didn't we expect this? Like, didn't we?
Absolutely.
So that's where I'm a little bit lost. Like now we want it to be fair, even though it may not have a chance to work out that way.
But it is fair. You know why it's fair? You know why it's fair? Because it's Alabama. That's why it's fair. It's Alabama.
It's not fair because if A&M has even a 1% chance to win the SEC West, everybody else in that division should be stacked up against them. If you're LSU and you're out of the race, that's fine. But if you're A&M and you have, yes, you're right, Alabama has the head-to-head. But anything could happen. Mac Jones gets injured, and suddenly
they got
Alabama,
another dude right behind him.
That's fine. They do have a true freshman from California, your guy,
absolutely.
ready to go.
Yes.
I'm just saying that if you're in the hunt and you're in the top 5,
Bryce Young is right there waiting in the wings.
Well, and if you're Alabama, you play LSU, and somebody from LSU has COVID, and you don't know, and then one of your star players from Alabama catches COVID, then you're going to be screwed out playing a national championship game. I'm saying there's a lot of scenarios where I hear what scenario that you're justifying in your mind. I could pose other scenarios because of that game that you might have to play at the last second that can then all of a sudden put Alabama in a position where they may not be able to win a national championship. So that's what I'm saying. There's nothing fair about this year. It's all uneven, but we kind of expected this going into this year if you're planning on playing in a COVID year, correct?
I don't think that's going to happen. Let's hypothetically go to Texas A&M for a second.
Okay, let's
say Texas A&M rises to number 2 in the polls.
Got it.
Ohio State loses, Notre Dame loses.
Got it.
They rise to number 2 in the polls. And they can't play in the SEC championship game because Alabama has won the West. But they still feel like, wait a minute, not only did we not get a chance to play in the SEC championship game, the team that does have the head-to-head with us played one less game. And you're number 2 in the country, and you're not playing on championship weekend.
But I don't understand, why would you think that I would put them ahead of Alabama?
I'm just saying everybody's got to play their games because you never know, to Jay's point, what the outcome could be depending on who's on the field.
Yeah, I don't think A&M can beat Alabama, and I certainly don't believe LSU has a chance to beat Alabama.
Fair enough. I'm just saying the rest of the schedule. Just the rest of the schedule has to be played out.